Yes, I'm audible. Mariam, Noor, Shazada.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So up to the last class, we were doing magnetic Lorentz force. This is the expression of magnetic Lorentz force. F is QE cross B, QEB sine theta. So if a charged particle is moving with a velocity v in a magnetic field B, this charged particle will experience a force known as magnetic Lorentz force. And this force is perpendicular to both velocity of particle and the magnetic field. Alhamdulillah. This force is perpendicular to both velocity as well as the magnetic field. Now we have few special cases for magnetic Lorentz force. The first one is if charged particle is moving parallel to magnetic field, then force will be zero. If charged particle is moving perpendicular to magnetic field, then force will be, force is zero. Now, if this force is perpendicular to velocity, then it should be perpendicular to displacement also. Work done by magnetic force is zero. If work done by magnetic force is zero, then there is no change in kinetic energy due to this magnetic force. No change in magnitude of velocity due to this force. So what this magnetic force can do is, it can only change the direction of velocity. It can't change the magnitude of velocity. Work done by the force would be zero. No change in kinetic energy due to this magnetic Lorentz force. Let's solve few questions on this concept. First question. Okay, before starting this question, let's the next is direction of force. Direction of magnetic force. For direction of this magnetic force, we can use right hand thumb rule. Or Fleming's left hand rule. You can use any of these two laws, but Fleming's left hand rule is valid only if charged particle is moving perpendicular to magnetic field. If charged particle is moving at 30°, 40°, then you can't use Fleming's left hand rule. But this right hand thumb rule is always applicable. This is always applicable. Right hand thumb rule you can use always. So for direction of magnetic field, we either use right hand thumb rule or Fleming's left hand rule, but Fleming's left hand rule is valid only if V is perpendicular to B. Otherwise, we have to use right hand thumb rule. So we won't do Fleming's left hand rule. We will use right hand thumb rule only for all types of questions. So see what this right hand thumb rule says. First of all, this magnetic force is perpendicular to velocity. And this force is also perpendicular to magnetic field. It's perpendicular to velocity as well as magnetic field. For right hand thumb rule, this is the direction of magnetic field. This is the direction of velocity. Take your right hand, place your finger in the direction of velocity and curl it towards the magnetic field. So place your finger in the direction of velocity and curl it towards the magnetic field. Your thumb will give the direction of magnetic force. Okay, I'm showing it this one.
Sir,
Yes.
so that F perpendicular to V is for Fleming's left hand rule.
Sorry.
That F perpendicular to V, evident, right? That is for Fleming's left hand rule.
Now that is always like whenever you use right hand. Whenever you have magnetic force, this will be perpendicular always. Whenever you have right hand thumb rule, or whenever you have magnetic force, it's perpendicular both velocity as well as magnetic field.
Okay.
Both the rules will give the same direction. Okay. See, you can check the camera. Take your right hand in this way. Place your finger in the direction of velocity and curl it towards the magnetic field. My thumb is going inward. That means direction of magnetic field is inwards. I'm showing it again. See in the camera. Take your right hand, place your finger in the direction of velocity in this way and curl it towards the magnetic field. Place it along the direction of velocity and curl it towards the magnetic field. Thumb is going inwards. So direction of magnetic force is inwards here. Noor, Shahzada, Abdullah, and who else is there? Mariam. Apply right hand thumb rule and see if the thumb is going in inverse direction or not.
Yes, sir. It's going inwards.
Abdullah,
Yes, sir. It's only inwards.
Mariam. Mariam, are you getting inverse direction? Shahzada, are you getting inverse direction?
Yes, sir. Inverter.
Mariam? Okay, no issues. Just 1 second, Mariam. Let me check. Mariam, just log out once and then log in again. So this is how we apply right hand thumb. The direction of magnetic field is inwards. Magnetic force is inwards. Let's take one more example. This is the magnetic field. This is the direction of velocity. No, not this one. This is magnetic field, and this is the direction of velocity. This angle is theta. Now let's do it again. Yes, Mariam, can you unmute it now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you got the answer, like magnetic field, your magnetic force in inverse direction.
Yes.
Okay. Now apply right hand thumb rule for this particular question. For this question, take your right hand, place your finger in the direction of velocity and try to curl it towards the magnetic field. And write your answer in chat room. Is it inwards, outwards, upwards, leftwards, rightwards? Where the thumb is going. Just write your answer in chat room, please. Answers. Okay, Abdullah, correct. Shahzada, Noor, Mariam. Yes, Shahzada, it's correct. Noor and Mariam. No, Mariam. Mariam, use right hand thumb rule. See. It should be outwards. See, Mariam, this is the right hand. Take your right hand, place it along the velocity. Place it along the velocity in this way. And curl it towards the magnetic field. This is how you will curl your right hand. Curl it towards the magnetic field. Thumb is going outwards. Yes, Mariam, are you getting it?
Yes.
This is your, take your right hand, place your finger along the direction of velocity and curl it in this way. Thumb will come outwards. Curl it in this way, thumb will come outwards. That's the direction of magnetic force. Outwards, huh? Direction is outwards. But if instead, this is for a positively charged particle, this is positively charged particle, and this is again for a positively charged particle. Instead of a positively charged particle, if you have a negatively charged particle, then for the direction of force, you will use right hand thumb rule. But whatever the direction you will get from right hand thumb rule, you will reverse it. Direction of force for negatively charged particle is opposite to the one obtained through right hand thumb rule. So in the same question, instead of a positively charged particle, if you have a negatively charged particle, Fatma, we just have started. That's the first topic. We are just doing the direction of magnetic force. Say instead of this positively charged particle, if you have negatively charged particle, if you apply right hand thumb rule, then the direction would be inwards. But since this charged particle is negative, so just take the direction opposite that obtained from right hand thumb rule and it would be outward. In this case, this is the direction of magnetic field. This is again your negatively charged particle. If it is moving in this way, then the right hand thumb rule says the direction should be outwards. But since it's a negatively charged particle, then direction should be inwards. That's it. You can compare from here. Here it is outwards, but here it's inwards. This is inwards, but this is outwards. This is how we get the direction for a negatively charged particle. Just note it down. Fatma, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, Fatma, we were doing right hand thumb rule for magnetic force. We have completed magnetic force in the last lecture. So, see how we apply right hand thumb rule. To apply right hand thumb rule, see this camera. Take your right hand, place your right hand in the direction of velocity. This is velocity. So, in this way, place your right hand in the direction of velocity. This is it. Place your right hand in the direction of velocity and curl it towards the magnetic field. In this way, curl it. Place it in the direction of velocity and curl it in this way. Your thumb is going inwards. So direction of magnetic force is inwards. This is the direction of velocity. I'm placing my finger along the direction of velocity and I'm curling it towards the magnetic field. In this way. Thumb is going inwards. Yes, Fatma, did you get the direction?
Inwards?
Yeah, it should be inwards. In the second case, see, in this case, take your right hand, place your finger along the velocity and curl it in this way, along the magnetic field. Where is the thumb going? What's the direction of thumb?
Outwards, like
Outwards.
below the.
Yeah, outwards. This is how we decide direction using right hand thumb. So I'm writing right hand thumb rule here. Let me mention right hand thumb rule. So right hand thumb rule says place your finger of right hand along the direction of velocity and curl it towards magnetic field. Thumb will give direction of force. And this should always be perpendicular velocity as well as magnetic field. So Abdullah, direction of force would be same, whether you use right hand thumb rule or you use Fleming's left hand rule.
Yes, sir. Sir,
Yes.
so Fleming's left-hand rule, velocity should always be perpendicular to magnetic field. Or
Yeah,
counterclockwise?
velocity should always be perpendicular to magnetic. Okay. The next topic is path of charged particle in magnetic field. Path of charged particle in magnetic field. And this magnetic field is uniform. Path of charged particle in uniform magnet. So we have few cases. Case one, if particle is moving parallel to magnetic field, if particle is moving parallel to magnetic field, Fatma, what is the angle between magnetic field and velocity if particle is moving parallel to field?
So what is the question?
What is the angle between velocity and magnetic field if particle is moving parallel to field? Like this is your charged particle, this is the velocity of charged particle.
0 degree.
0 degree. And what would be the magnetic force? How would you calculate the magnetic force on charged particle? What's the formula for calculating magnetic force, Lorentz magnetic force? Mariam, how would you calculate magnetic Lorentz force? Arre? Shehzada, what's the formula for Yes, Mariam, you were saying something.
So Q into
Hmm?
velocity into the direction.
Yes, magnetic Lorentz force is this, Fatma, QVB sine theta. Sine is 0. So this is how we calculate magnetic Lorentz force, which comes out to be 0. Magnetic Lorentz force is 0. It won't experience any force. So if it does not experience any force, then its path will not change. Its path will not change. There's no change in the path of charged particle if it is moving parallel to magnetic field. Its path will not change. No force, no change in path. Case 2. If particle is moving anti-parallel to field. Shehzada, what do you mean by anti-parallel?
So like parallel, perpendicular.
If anti-parallel is perpendicular, then what is perpendicular?
So like it's not parallel. Opposite of that.
Parallel means same direction. Anti-parallel means opposite direction.
Yes, sir.
Repeat once again. What do you mean by anti-parallel?
Parallel means same direction. Anti-parallel means opposite direction.
Opposite direction. This is how it's moving anti-parallel. And what is the angle between V and B now? Shehzada?
Yes, sir. 180 degree.
180
Yes,
degree. Perfect.
Yes.
Now tell me, how do you calculate the magnetic force on the charged particle? Q,
Q FP sine theta.
QVB sine theta, na? So
Yes.
that's QVB sine 180. How much is sine 180?
Sine 180.
What's the value of sine 180?
-1.
No, sine 180 is 0. Sine 0 and sine 180 both are 0. So magnetic force will comes out to be 0. This is the force on charged particle QVB sine 180, which is equal to 0. Okay. So if a charged particle is moving parallel to magnetic force, it won't parallel to magnetic field, then it won't experience any magnetic force. If it is moving anti-parallel to magnetic field, then also it won't experience any force. But if it is moving perpendicular to magnetic field, if particle is moving perpendicular to magnetic, if it moves perpendicular to magnetic field, then yes, it will experience any force. Now let's check what would be the path of charged particle if it is moving perpendicular to magnetic field. Okay, before starting this topic, let's revise centripetal force. I will need centripetal force. Okay, does anyone of you remember what is centripetal force?
Yes, sir, a little bit.
Yes, what is centripetal force? Okay, where we use centripetal force, this concept.
In circular motion.
Circular motion. Perfect. So if a body is moving on a circular track, if it is moving on a circular track, this is a circular track, radius of the track is r, you have a body of mass m, it's moving with a velocity v. So to move this body on the circular track, this body needs a force which is known as centripetal force. Centripetal force is force required by body to move on a circular track. So the force required by a body to move on a circular track is centripetal force. How we calculate centripetal force? This is the formula of centripetal force. It's mv square by r, or you can write this as m omega square r. So if a body is moving on a circular track, force required by the body is centripetal force. M is mass of particle. V is velocity of particle. R is radius of track. It's not the radius of particle. It's radius of circular track. And omega is the angular velocity. Does anyone of you remember relation between V and omega? Do you remember any relation between velocity and angular velocity, V and omega?
Omega is equal to V by R.
Yes. Omega is equal to V by R. Next, direction of centripetal force. Direction of centripetal force is always along the radius of the part towards the center. It's always along the radius towards the center. Few examples. There's one more thing. Centripetal force is just the requirement. Like if a body is moving on a circular track, it would need this force. Some external force will always supply this force. External force always supply centripetal force. Some external force will always apply centripetal force. We have various examples. One example is if you take the motion of Earth around the sun. Motion of Earth around sun. Earth needs a centripetal force which is provided by the gravitational force between sun and Earth. Gravitational force between sun and Earth will provide centripetal force. Will provide centripetal force. This will provide the centripetal force. So whenever you have a circular path, if a body is moving on a circular path, then it will require a centripetal force. And this centripetal force is always provided by some external force. For the case of planets revolving around the sun, it's gravitational force which provides the centripetal force. For the case of electrons revolving around the nucleus, it's electric force which will provide the centripetal force. Okay, just note it down. Then we will do the third part. And tell me if you have any doubts. On the line joining center and circular path, where is the force maximum? Noor, when the centripetal force is acting on the particle, it's acting on the particle, huh? And the particle is right here. Particle is not moving towards the center. Particle is revolving here. So force will always act on the circumference where the particle is. Force will act over this point, force will act over this point, it will act over this point, not here. And for all points, R is same, V is same, M is same, so centripetal force is same.
Okay, sir.
So it doesn't mean that particle is going here. Particle is moving on the circular track. Same. Noted? Can I scroll it further, Shazada?
Yes, sir.
Mariam, this concept of centripetal force is clear? Mariam. Okay. Noted?
Yes, sir.
Everyone, Fatma, Shazada.
Yes, sir.
Last case, not last case. We have one more case after this. If a particle is moving perpendicular to B. So if a particle, let's say this is your charged particle Q. This enters in the magnetic field. Magnetic field is inwards, right? This is inwards. Your magnetic field is inwards. It enters in the magnetic field in this way. So Fatma, what do you think? What's the angle between velocity and magnetic field here? Fatma, what is the angle between the velocity of charged particle and magnetic field?
So what's the question?
Angle between velocity and magnetic field.
0.
0. Magnetic field is inwards and particle is moving to the right hand side. Inwards. 0.
No.
Then 90-degree, Fatma. Magnetic field is inwards, velocity is to the right hand side. So one is this direction, another is inward, so angle would be 90-degree. So this particle enters in the magnetic field with a velocity which is perpendicular to magnetic field. Apply right hand thumb rule and write the direction of force. force will be, what will be the direction of force? Left, right, up, down, or inwards, inwards or outwards? Apply right hand thumb rule and write the direction of force in the chat room. What is the direction of force? We just have discussed right hand thumb rule. Write down in the chat room the direction of force. Abdullah, Noor, Mariam, Fatma, Shahzada, what's the direction of force? No, Noor, you're wrong. It's not correct. Apply right hand thumb rule. Just take your right hand, place your finger in the direction of velocity and curl it inwards. No, Fatma, it's wrong. Apply right. Fatma, I think you're applying left hand rule. You're using no, Mariam, it's wrong. Fatma, I think you're using left hand. Use right hand. Yes, Abdullah. So this is the magnetic field which is in the inverse direction. No, Shahzada, it's wrong. A particle is moving with a velocity v to the right hand side. This is the direction of velocity. That's the direction of magnetic field. I'm asking about the direction of force. What would be the direction of force now? Direction of force. Yeah. Yes, Noor. Now you are correct. See, take your right hand. Okay. I'm doing it. This is it, na? Take your right hand, place it in this way. Place your right hand in this way. This is the direction of velocity, na? So place your right hand in the direction of velocity. Then your magnetic field is inwards. Curl it in the inwards direction. See, my thumb is going upwards. Repeat, everyone. Just take your right hand, place your finger in the direction of velocity and curl it inwards. Thumb is going upwards. Are you getting upwards now? Fatma, Shahzada, Abdullah. Are you getting upwards now?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So take your right hand, place your right hand in the direction of velocity. This is the direction of velocity. Curl it inwards. So the thumb is going upwards. Fatma, why you are getting downwards?
I used left.
Use left. So this is the direction of force. So due to the force, the path of charged particle will change in this way. Its velocity will become in this direction. Now, if you apply right hand thumb rule again, then the force will act in this way. That will be the direction of force. So if a particle is going upwards, force is acting in the leftward direction. So the path will change. It will become this. Then the force will, if you apply right hand thumb rule again, then the force will act in this direction. Due to the force, direction of velocity will change again. If you apply right hand thumb rule again, the direction of force would be this. So this direction of magnetic force is giving you a hint that particle is completing one circle. The path of the charged particle is circular. So if a charged particle is moving perpendicular to magnetic field, then its path is circular. Particle will move on a circular path. Its path would be circular if it is moving perpendicular to magnetic field. So this is the magnetic field. This is the charged particle. It enters in this way. So it will complete a circular path. Huh? It will complete a circular path. Throughout the circular path, velocity, the direction of velocity is changing, but not the magnitude of velocity. At every point, magnitude of velocity is same. It's not at all changing. This is velocity here. This is velocity here. This is velocity here. So the direction of velocity is continuously changing, but not the magnitude of velocity. It's same everywhere. So we can first calculate magnetic force on charged particle. Magnetic force on charged particle. Shahzada, how do you calculate magnetic force in this case? V and B are perpendicular.
So QVB and theta.
What is theta now? What is theta here?
The radius.
90, right?
Yeah, 90.
So that's QVB, sine 90 is 1. So that's the magnetic force. Fatma, this charged particle is moving on a circular track. Huh? So it will require a centripetal force. So what's the expression for the centripetal force required, Fatma?
Omega square R.
Just omega square R. I don't think there should be something else.
Mm,
Check the expression. Is it only omega square R or something else? There was one M also, huh?
mass. Yeah.
So
Mass.
it's either M omega. Yeah. This is the expression. Huh? MV square by R or M omega square. So we can use any of the expression. I'm using MV square by R. I'm using MV square over R. That is equation number 2. Now you can equate 1 and 2. You can easily equate 1 and 2. So when you equate 1 and 2, then MV square by R is equal to QVB. Square will cancel this thing. And from here, you can write that your R it's MV by Q. See, this is the magnetic force acting on the particle. This is the centripetal force required. This magnetic force will provide the centripetal force. Like in the example of this one. Motion of Earth around the sun is the gravitational force which provides the centripetal force. In the same way, this is the magnetic force which will provide the centripetal force. R is MV by Q. So this is the radius of the path. That's the radius of circular path. So the radius of this path R, when a particle enters in a magnetic field perpendicular to it, then it will complete a circular path. The radius of the path is given by this expression MV by Q. After radius, I need time period, expression of time period also. I need expression of time period also. So, Noor, what do you mean by time period here?
Time taken to complete the circular path.
Time taken to complete the circle, right? Time taken by particle to complete one revolution. So speed is distance upon time. So V is distance over time. So not Abdullah, Noor, in one revolution, what is the distance covered by the particle? In one complete revolution, how much distance will this particle cover?
2 pi r.
2 pi r, and time is capital T. So we can calculate T from this equation, that T is 2 pi R over V. Let's call this as equation number 3. Call this as equation number 4. What we can do is we can substitute R in 4 from 3. So I'm just substituting equation number 3 in equation number 4. When we do this substitution, we get time period is 2 pi by V into R. R is mv by qb. We will cancel this V. We are left with time period is 2 pi m over qb. That's the expression. This is equation number 5. So this is how you can calculate the time taken by the particle to complete one revolution. It's 2 pi m over qb now. Okay, after this time period, so we have time period, we have radius of path. The next is we need frequency. Frequency means number of revolutions in 1 second. If you have time period, you can easily calculate frequency. Frequency is 1 by time period. So it's simply QB by 2 pi. That's frequency. After frequency, you can also calculate angular frequency. Angular frequency, we represent it by omega. We can calculate angular frequency in this way, 2 pi into nu. It's 2 pi into nu. So that's 2 pi into frequency, which is QB over 2 pi m. So this 2 pi will cancel this 2 pi and you will get that your omega is, it's QB over m now. That's omega, angular frequency. Its SI unit is radian per second. Its SI unit is hertz. After angular frequency, the last part is kinetic energy. It's kinetic energy. So kinetic energy is half mv square. Which is half m into v. V we can calculate from equation number 3, like V will be QBR by M. From equation 3, we can write V as QBR by M. We can substitute the value of V here. So we'll get kinetic energy is, it's half into M into Q square B square R square over M square. So this M will cancel this square and we are left with the expression of kinetic energy. It's half Q square B square R square. So if a charged particle is moving perpendicular to magnetic field, then its path would be circular. Circular path. Huh? So if particle have circular path, then you will calculate the radius of the path. You will calculate the time period, time taken to complete one revolution. You will calculate frequency, angular frequency, and the kinetic energy of the particle. Note it down.
So,
Yes.
so when we again apply right-hand rule in this figure, like how force is acting leftwards.
This direction.
Yes, sir. This direction is. How is it left?
You want to get this direction, na? Leftwards?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So for leftwards direction, just take your right hand, place your right hand in the direction of velocity. See, velocity is upwards, right, Abdullah? Here, velocity is upwards. Just take your right hand and place your fingers in the upwards direction
Okay.
and curl it inwards. When you curl
Okay.
it inwards, the thumb is going leftwards. Similarly here, just place your finger in the direction of velocity again, curl it inwards. This is the thumb. Okay. Mariam, any doubt in this particular case? Okay, put it down. We'll do few numericals on it. So remember, if charged particle is moving parallel to magnetic field, there is no force, it will go straight. No change in the path of direction. It will go straight. If it is moving anti-parallel, no change in path. It will go straight. Here also. No change in path. It will go straight. It will go straight. But if it is moving perpendicular, then yes, its path will change and it will move on a circle. Its path will become circular if it is moving on moving perpendicular to magnetic.
Sir, can you
Yes.
scroll downwards?
Yes, yes. The next question is a proton, a deuteron, and an alpha particle enters in a uniform magnetic field calculate ratio of their radii, time period, and frequency if they enter with first part. Same velocity, same momentum, same kinetic energy. Fourth, accelerated through same potential. And it is also given that they enter perpendicular to V. Mariam, what would be the shape of the path if all enters perpendicular to magnetic field? Yes, Mariam. If all particles enters perpendicular to magnetic field, then what would be the shape of the path of particle? Straight line, circular, helical, parabola. What would be the shape? Circular, right? So if a particle enters in a magnetic field perpendicular, then its shape would be circular. So all will have a circular path. You're supposed to calculate the ratio of time period, frequency, and radius. So let's first start with radius. First part, if they enter with same velocity. I need a ratio of radius of proton, radius of deuteron, and radius of alpha particle. P is for proton, D is for deuteron, and this is for alpha particle. So the expression of radius is this, it's mv by qb. So we'll write this as mass of proton into velocity of proton divided by charge of proton into magnetic field. Magnetic field is same for all. Similarly, mass of deuteron, velocity of deuteron, charge of deuteron, and magnetic field is same for all. Mass of alpha particle, velocity of alpha particle, charge of alpha particle, and magnetic field. In these type of ratio, you can cancel only those terms which are common in all three. So B is common in all three, so you can cancel B. This B will cancel this, B will cancel this. Velocity is same, writing same velocity. That means Vp is Vd is V alpha. So these all three gets cancelled out. Vp, Vd, V alpha gets cancelled. And you know that mass of, if I write mass of proton as mp, charge of proton is E plus E. Mass of deuteron, what is deuteron? An isotope of hydrogen which have one proton and one neutron. So its mass is 2 mp. Charge of deuteron is same as that of hydrogen, it's plus E. Mass of alpha particle is 4 times mass of proton. charge of alpha particle is twice of charge of proton. You should remember these results. If proton mass of proton is mp, then for deuteron it's twice of mp, then for alpha particle it's 4 times mp. If charge of proton is E, charge of neutron is E, then charge of alpha particle would be 2E. When you do all these substitutions here, you will get radius of proton, radius of path of neutron, radius of path of alpha particle. So these are not the radius of particles. These are the radius of path in which these particles are evolving. So instead of MP, I'm writing MP only. For QP, I'm writing E. For MD, I'm writing 2MP. For QD, I'm writing E. For M alpha, I'm writing 4MP. For Q alpha, I'm writing 2. MP, MP, MP will get cancelled out. E, E, and E will get cancelled out. 2 and 4 gets cancelled out, and you're left with 2. So radius of path of proton, radius of path of neutron, and radius of path of alpha particle. This is 1:2:2. That's the ratio of radius of path of proton, neutron, and alpha particle. Next, you will also calculate the ratio of the time period. So time period of proton, time period of neutron, time period of alpha particle. This is the expression of time period, 2 pi m by qb. See, it's independent of velocity. So it's 2 pi mass of proton over charge of proton into magnetic field. 2 pi mass of neutron by charge of neutron into magnetic field. Then it's 2 pi mass of alpha particle over charge of alpha particle into magnetic field. 2 pi, 2 pi, 2 pi will get cancelled out. B, B, B will get cancelled out. Mass of proton is mp. Charge of proton is E. Mass of neutron is 2mp. Charge of neutron is E. Mass of alpha particle is 4mp. Charge of alpha particle is 2. So time period of path of proton, time period of path of neutron, time period of path of alpha particle is 1:2:2. This is how we get the ratio of the path of the particles. So proton, neutron, alpha particle, this is the ratio of the path of these particles. So this is all when they are moving with same velocity. If you need the ratio of frequency, then see, frequency is of inverse of time period, then it will be 1:1/2 ratio 1/2. Frequency and time period, frequency is 1/2. Note it down, then we will do what will happen if they are moving with same momentum. See the next part. In the next part is saying that the charged particle is moving with the same momentum. So if it is moving with the same momentum, then you have to convert this expression of radius of path in terms of momentum. This is the expression of radius of the path of charged particle. R is mv over qd. You have to convert this expression in terms of momentum. So Noor, can you convert this in terms of momentum?
So MV is equal to RQB.
mv, no. You can write mv as p, right?
Yes, sir.
This is the expression of momentum. So instead of mv, you can just substitute p. So that will be p by q. Now you will take the ratio of radius of path of proton, radius of path of neutron, radius of path of alpha particle. Do it and write your answer in chat room, please. Use this expression of radius now because it's given that momentum is same. Noor is correct. Abdullah is correct. Shahzada, Mariam, Fatma. No, Abdullah. Time period is independent of velocity and radius of the path. So it would be same. Mariam and Fatma, are you solving it? See, this is straightforward. This is momentum of proton over charge of proton into magnetic field of proton. Momentum of neutron, charge of neutron into magnetic field of neutron. Momentum of alpha particle, charge of alpha particle, and sorry, magnetic field is same for all. No? So this magnetic field will cancel each magnetic field. Yes, Mariam, you're right. Momentum is same, so momentum will cancel out. Since momentum of proton, momentum of neutron, momentum of alpha particle are equal. Radius of path of proton, radius of path of neutron, radius of path of alpha particle. Charge of proton is E. Charge of neutron is E. Charge of alpha particle is 2. So E will get cancelled. So 1:1:1. So this is it. Radius of path of proton, radius of path of neutron, radius of path of particle. The ratio is 1:1:1. Fatma, is it clear? For time period, answer would be same. If you take time period of proton, time period of deuteron and time period alpha particle? Answer would be same as that of first part, because time period is independent of velocity. It's independent of radius. Time period depends upon mass, charge, and magnetic field. So time period won't change. It will be 1:2:2. Third part. It's same kinetic energy. For kinetic energy, try to convert this expression. R is mv by qb. In terms of kinetic energy. So what you can do is you can write the expression of kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is half mv square. From here you can calculate v. It's twice of kinetic energy divided by the mass of particle root over. Substitute it here and you will get that radius is it's m over qb into root over twice of kinetic energy divided by the mass of particle. So this m and root m get cancelled out each other and you will be left with its root over twice of kinetic energy into mass of particle This is the expression of radius. It's twice of kinetic energy into m by q. Now, you can take the ratio of path of proton, ratio of path of deuteron, ratio of path of alpha particle. It's twice of kinetic energy into m by qb. It's mass of proton, it's charge of proton. Then this is root over twice of kinetic energy into mass of deuteron by charge of deuteron into magnetic field. Then this is root over twice of kinetic energy, mass of alpha particle by charge of alpha particle into magnetic field. Get the ratio. If it is moving with the same kinetic energy, then get the ratio of radii. Yes, Abdullah, you can cancel 2ke because kinetic energy is same. All are moving with the same kinetic energy. Okay, Abdullah. What about the rest? Noor, Mariam, Shahzada? Shahzada and Fatma, you got disconnected. Have you noted the previous one?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Shahzada, you have noted the second part?
Yes.
That's the third part. If they are moving with same kinetic energy. So I just converted the expression of radius, which is mv by qb, in terms of kinetic energy. This kinetic energy gets cancelled out. Just put the value of mass of neutron, mass of alpha particle, their charges, cancel them. Yes, Noor, you are correct. Abdullah, you are correct. Mariam, Fatima, and Shahzada, I'm waiting for your answers. Yes, Noor. Time period will remain same. So you can write this as, see this. Kinetic energy, kinetic energy, kinetic energy will get cancelled out. B will get cancelled out. So you have mass of proton, charge of proton is E, mass of neutron, which is twice of mp, charge of neutron is E, mass of alpha particle, which is 4 mp, charge of alpha particle, which is 2e. So this E, and E will get cancelled out. MP, and MP will get cancelled out. And you are left with 1:2 root 2. Root 4/2 is 1. So radius of path of proton, radius of path of neutron, and radius of path of alpha particle. It's 1:√2:1. Time period will have same ratios. Huh? Time period is independent of velocity, is independent of radius. It won't change. It will be 1:2:2. Time period, the ratio of time period will not change. Fourth part. Same potential difference. For same potential difference, what you can do is you can convert this kinetic energy in terms of voltage, in terms of potential difference. So the expression of radius is its root over twice of mass into kinetic energy divided by QB. You can write kinetic energy as Q into V now, where V is potential difference. So instead of this kinetic energy, you can put QV. So the expression of radius is twice of mass into Q into V divided by Q. This Q will cancel this Q and you are left with only 2mv by root Q, and this 1/b would be outside. Get the ratio of radius now. Shahzada and Fatima, I need your answer now. V is same for all particles, so we can get cancelled out. Radius of proton, radius of neutron, and radius of alpha particle. So that's 1 by B root over twice of mass of proton into V by Q. 1 by B root over twice of mass of neutron into V by Q. 1 by B root over mass of alpha particle into V by Q. Do it now. Get the ratio of radius if potential difference is same. V is same for all. Yeah. Yes, Abdullah. Time and frequency will again be same. Okay, Abdullah, Noor. Mariam, aren't you getting this? These calculations?
Yes, sir.
You're not getting these calculations?
I am.
You are good. Fatma, Shazada. Then please solve it, Mariam. I need your answer. Fatma, Shazada. Okay, Mariam, good. Fatma and Shahzad, I'm not getting your answer. See, we will cancel V. 2 will cancel 2. B will cancel B. And you are left with only it's root over MB over E. MD is 2 MB over E. M alpha is 4 MB over E. E will get cancelled out, MP will get cancelled out. It won't be E, it would be 2E. This is charge of proton, charge of deuteron, charge of alpha particle. So we are left with 1 ratio root 2 ratio root. So this is the radius of path of proton, radius of path of deuteron, and the radius of the path of alpha particle. It's 1 ratio 2 ratio 2 now. Next. Just note it down. Then we'll do the next question. We'll do the next case. And yes, time period and frequency will have same result. Time period of proton, deuteron, and alpha particle will be 1 ratio 2 ratio. Time period is independent of velocity, so it won't affect whether velocity is same, kinetic energy is same, voltage is same. Time period will have same result. Now, fourth case. So in the first case, charged particle was moving parallel to magnetic field, path was straight line. In the second case, particle was moving anti-parallel to magnetic field, path was straight line. In the third case, particle was moving perpendicular to magnetic fields, path was circular. In the fourth case, particle is moving at some angle theta, which is not 0, 180 or 90 degree. So if particle is moving at angle theta, and remember theta is not equal to 0, theta is not equal to 180, and theta is not equal to 90. Apart from these three angles, if you have any theta, then this calculation is valid. So this is the magnetic field. This is the direction of magnetic field. This is the direction of magnetic field. This is it. This is magnetic field. This is charge Q. And this Q is moving with some velocity V. Angle between the magnetic field and the velocity is theta. This is the angle between them, theta angle. So what we can do is we can take two components of velocity. One is parallel to magnetic field, and another is perpendicular to magnetic field. Okay, before starting this calculation, Shahzada and Fatima, are you in class? At least respond yes, no, something. Okay, so Shahzada is in class. Fatima? Use chat room or your mic, Fatma. Okay, so you two are in class. Okay. So let's put some questions, Fatima and Shahzada. Shahzada, just get the component of V parallel to magnetic field.
Okay, sir.
So what is the component of V parallel to magnetic field, Shahzada? Resolve V. Take one component which is parallel to magnetic field. Yes, Shahzada.
Sir, theta is not equal to 90.
I'm asking about component. Resolution of vector. This is V. This is the direction. Component of V in this direction is V cos theta. Shahzada, what will be the component of V in this direction?
So sine theta.
Yes, V sin theta. So we take two components of V. One is parallel to magnetic field, another is perpendicular to magnetic field. So what is V parallel? Component of magnet, component of velocity component of velocity along magnetic field. And what is V perpendicular? It's component of velocity perpendicular to magnetic field. Now, to decide the path of the particle, we'll be using case 1 and case 3. We use these two cases simultaneously. If charged particle is moving parallel, then path would be a straight line. If charged particle is moving perpendicular, then path would be circular. We will use these two parts simultaneously here. So let's first calculate path of charged particle. Okay, Shahzada. Path of charged particle So we first have to decide the path of charged particle due to the parallel component of velocity v parallel. So due to v parallel, we know that path will be a straight line. Path would be straight line due to v parallel. Or do one thing. Let's first calculate path due to v perpendicular. Then we will see the effect due to v parallel. So Mariam, what do you think? What would be the nature of path due to this v perpendicular component? Straight line, circular?
It will be circular.
Circular. Due to the v perpendicular, the path would be circular. So if path is circular, we can calculate radius, time period, and frequency of the path. We know the expression of radius of path. Radius of path will be, it's m v perpendicular over qb. Instead of v, we will use v perpendicular here. And how much is v perpendicular? That's v sine theta. Similarly, we can calculate the time period. Time period will be 2 pi m over qb. So due to this v perpendicular, path is circular, we calculated the radius of the circular path and the time period of circular path. But it's not just v perpendicular. Along with v perpendicular, you have v parallel. Noor, what would be the path of particle due to this v parallel?
So it will be straight line.
Straight line. So this v perpendicular will try to put your particle in a circular path, while this v parallel will try to give your particle a straight line path. Can you guess the path of the particle, the combination of circular and v parallel? Yes. Can you just guess what would be the shape of the particle due to combination of circular and straight line?
Tangential.
Tangential. Okay. Any other answer, Fatma? What do you think? What would be the shape of the particle? Shape of the path of the particle? Combination of circular and straight line. What's the exact shape which is combination of circular and straight line? No, Abdullah. No. No, Mariam.
Helical.
Yeah, helical. It will go. See, parabolic is curved only, but you need something which is curved as well as straight line. That's helical. So combined path due to v perpendicular and v parallel is combination of circular and straight line. It would be helical. It would be helical. So the path of the particle due to both the components of velocities v perpendicular and v parallel will be combination of circular and straight line. It would be helical. So the path will be like this. This is the path of the particle. The straight line path, this straight line motion, it's moving in the forward direction. That is due to v parallel. If v parallel is 0, then particle will continue to move on the same path, circular path only. But due to this v parallel, it will have circular as well as straight line. Now, this separation between two circular path is known as pitch. This is known as pitch. So what is pitch? It's horizontal distance covered by particle in time capital T naught. So in time capital T, the horizontal distance covered by the particle is pitch. So you can write your pitch as it's V parallel multiplied by T naught, which is distance, which is parallel component of velocity into time period. So for numericals on this helical path, you should remember this relation. You should remember this relation time period as well as this pitch now. Note it down. So it's moving at an angle to magnetic field theta, then the path would be helical. Helical path. So the path would be like this. This will be the path of the charged particle. Helical path. Note it down. No, Abdullah. Not yet.
So can you scroll down?
Ahmed, you're very late for the class. Class is over.
Okay, sir, no problem.
It was from 8:30 to 10:30. Na?
So now it's still.
Yes.
Is it possible for you to send me the link?
Yes,
Of
I'm
this-
sending a record. I'm asking Nishkash to share the recording. Huh? It will take
Yeah,
just 30 to 40 minutes to process this recording. Okay? He will
Sure,
share the
sir.
recording.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
And sorry for not joining.
Okay. Yes. Okay, noted.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, this completes path of charged particle in magnetic field. So let's stop here. From the next class, we'll continue force on current carrying conductor in magnetic field. So we are left with just 3 to 4 more topics and then magnetics is over. Okay, let's stop here. We'll finish magnetics and then next week, inshallah.
Thank
Okay,
you, sir.
Allah Hafiz.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Allah Hafiz.